Welcome to the UN Brief. Today we interviewed Jean Marie Collin. He is the spokesperson of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons in France. He's also a researcher with the GRIP. Thank you for watching the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe. What are the technical issues in order to guarantee the security of these sites? President Macron mentioned also that he was concerned about the issue of securing these nuclear sites, which are actually for domestic energy.
Right. Yesterday, and even I think he talked to President Putin about the necessity to not realize some conflict or military actions around the different place of the different nuclear power plant, or even close to Kiev. There is an institute named Sakharov, and where there were some also military incidents last week. So I heard that he said that in the conversation that they have with Putin.
You have been working in the issues of security and disarmament for quite a long time. You are the spokesperson for the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons in France. Mm-hmm. So what do you see is happening? What do you see is important? Is this conversation about securing the places enough, or where are we at?
Now, the important is to de-escalate the wording, like to not engage any word about the necessity to have a nuclear deterrence, or to show that we have a nuclear deterrence as we're in a really huge crisis. Some experts say that we are in the same crisis than in 1962 with the Cuban crisis. So that's the actual situations. And if we begin to think about the consequences of the nuclear regime or non-proliferation regime, it's for the moment absolutely not positive. And we need to think and to speak more and more about nuclear disarmament. That's why some states begin to speak more about the TPNW, and to remind all of the states the necessity to sign and ratify this treaty as soon as they can.
The conference on disarmament is taking place in Geneva, as you know, right, for the last couple of weeks. Is ICAN going to participate in some way this year? Or have you been so far visiting Geneva, participating in Geneva in the conference of disarmament?
Yeah, I know that the Reaching Critical Will, for example, which is an ICAN members of the campaign, participate to the CD or do some report, but we know that the CD is completely blocked since so many years, and nothing. It's pretty sad. Nothing positive get out of the each of days of these sessions. It's important to have these conversations that the different diplomatic that can have inside, for sure. It's better than to have nothing, but the reality shows that there is no agenda or no possibility to move on the good directions. And this year, normally, we have the TPNW in June or July, first meetings, that's a certitude. And normally we should have also the review conference on the NPT, which for the moment, nobody knows if it's going to happen or not. In case it's not going to happen, it's really not positive. Because that's mean since 2 years we are outside, the normal regime, and there is no pressure anymore on this inside this regime on the P5. So more than ever, the TPNW is important, and more than ever, we need also to have this review conference of the NPT.
And you've said something quite interesting in your interview with RTS last week, which was that there is no small atomic bomb, because the conversation...
the smallest nuclear weapon that the Russians have is around 10 kilotons, which is almost the same year that was used on Hiroshima, which was 15 kilotons. So when people begin to say they can use a small bomb, it's really an insult to the population, to the civil population who died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Of course, there is the question of wind and atmospheric conditions. If they happen to have an accident or detonate these bombs over Ukraine, that could affect the whole of Europe and surrounding regions, right?
Yeah. Some modelization was realized this weekend by some scientific. And they showed that in case there is a nuclear explosion over Ukraine, the huge clouds will go in the direction of Russia first, and obviously it depends of the size of the yell of the bomb use, but the wind directions always goes in the direction of Russia. Also, it will also be like a way to completely not have the capacity for Russia to be in Ukraine anymore, because that will mean that the whole part of Ukraine will be completely destroyed, radioactive, and they will also obviously kill their own soldiers. So it will not make sense to use a nuclear bomb. But as Putin said, all the options are on the table, and that's why it's a scary moment.
There is the possibility of an accident. Accidentally, like when they attacked the facilities last Friday, right?
Yeah, there is this possibility with the nuclear power plant, and there is also this possibility that it can use directly a nuclear bomb, or maybe can do also, why not, like a nuclear test, like a demonstration somewhere in the Arctic, for example, like in Nueva Zembol, for example, which is a huge island in the north or in the Arctic of Russia. And like to show again that he's ready to do everything. So it would be like a kind of last steps before doing some other action. So
that is suicidal, pretty much.
It's a suicidal for the non-proliferation regime. It's a suicidal for Russia and his own government. But what we need right now is obviously to hope that nothing of this is going to happen, is to really think of the day after this crisis. And I think that's actually the point, to really think that after this crisis, we need to encourage more and more and more our governments to engage with good faith, which what they don't do actually, the nuclear disarmament action. For example, in France, we asked actually President Macron to send, for the minimum that they can do, is to be like an observators at the TPNW meeting, which is really the minimum of the minimum, sending a diplomat to a UN conference. And if they do that, that will be the beginning of a sign to understood why a large majority of the world wants to disarm and wants to and act. That's why they decide to prohibit the nuclear weapons.
Do you think Macron will be more amenable now to do that? To send a diplomat to the conference, to the non-proliferation treaty?
If we have a sense of thinking to the future generation, he should do it, yes. Il y a eu effectivement différents accidents proches des grandes centrales nucléaires ukrainiennes, notamment sur cette centrale qui est la plus grande d'Europe, Zaporizhzhia, où il y a 6 réacteurs nucléaires, où il y a eu des incidents dont on ne sait pas très bien de quel côté ils sont, mais peu importe, ça a mis en danger une grande partie de l'Europe et de la planète. Donc le président Macron a demandé au président Poutine, et l'AIEA aujourd'hui est également chargé de ces discussions, de mettre en œuvre un véritable dialogue pour s'assurer d'une part qu'il n'y ait plus d'accidents, de conflits autour de ces installations, puisqu'il y en a eu aussi également proche de l'Institut Sakharov où il y a des déchets nucléaires, donc cet institut est proche de Kiev, et d'autre part de s'assurer que ces centrales puissent continuer de fonctionner, puisque ces centrales nécessitent une maintenance permanente, et en cas d'absence de maintenance, ça peut entraîner des problèmes, la dysfonctionnement et éventuellement le pire, une détonation, ou en tout cas un accident majeur dans la centrale nucléaire. Donc c'est aujourd'hui les objectifs en tout cas du président Macron qui ont été donnés hier soir et encore aujourd'hui à l'Agence internationale de l'énergie atomique. Effectivement, on est bien face à une nécessité de protéger ces différents sites. La Russie avait d'ailleurs, comme l'ensemble des puissances nucléaires et des États à travers le monde qui sont membres de l'AIEA, signé en 2009 un accord pour dire de protéger ces différentes installations nucléaires civiles. Nous avons également le protocole additionnel aux conventions de Genève qui interdit normalement à l'article 56 d'utiliser, en tout cas de cibler ces installations qui sont qualifiées, qui disposent de forces dangereuses, puisque justement ce sont des centrales nucléaires. Donc aujourd'hui c'est un moment important de tension et qui montre encore une fois que ce conflit peut très rapidement provoquer un accident nucléaire, en tout cas civil, mais aussi peut-être militaire, malheureusement, puisque le président Poutine a largement fait usage de ce qu'on peut appeler la grammaire nucléaire et par des provocations à ce niveau-là.
We
Oui, il n'y a pas de petites bombes nucléaires. Il n'y a que des armes nucléaires, il n'y a que des armes de destruction massive. Et ça, c'est véritablement important de ne plus utiliser ce type de mot et de l'entendre. Une arme de destruction massive, aujourd'hui, la plus faible en termes de puissance est celle en Russie de 10 kilotonnes, soit presque l'équivalent de celle qui a rayé Hiroshima et qui a donc tué en quelques secondes près de 80 000 personnes. Donc, on ne peut pas appeler cela comme étant quelque chose de petit. Ce serait faire une insulte aux populations qui ont subi cette arme nucléaire et qui ont réussi à survivre pour une toute petite partie d'entre elles. Encore une fois, une arme nucléaire est une arme de destruction massive. Tout usage, qu'il soit volontaire, intentionnel, volontaire et intentionnel ou malveillant, entraînerait d'une part un tabou complet, puisqu'il n'y a pas eu d'usage dans le cadre d'une guerre depuis 1945, et bien sûr, viendrait provoquer des conséquences humanitaires sur l'ensemble de l'Europe, voire peut-être sur l'ensemble du monde. Les vents qui pousseraient ces fameux nuages contenant des poussières radioactives et autres éléments se dirigeraient en direction de la Russie, mais peu importe la direction en réalité qu'ils prendraient, ce serait bien, encore une fois, malheureusement, des populations civiles qui en subiraient les conséquences. Et c'est bien là le drame de ce type d'armes. Ce sont les populations civiles qui sont en premier ciblées par ce type d'armement. Or, on sait très bien que le droit international humanitaire interdit, dans le cadre d'une guerre, de cibler ces populations.
Thank you for watching the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe